what is Health and Human Services? So it's some really key agencies that people have heard of. For example, the CDC, right? The Center for Disease Control, we've heard a lot about going back. They really came into prominence around 2020. And also the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. So food and drugs. So it's the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, and then also the National Institute of Health, which includes infectious diseases, and also there's one called the Agency for Toxic Substances. And so all these things are now going to come under RFK Jr. as the secretary, the cabinet person. Now, there's a rumor that he's also going to be commissioning Dr. Oz to come to help him specifically with Medicaid and Medicare, to help to modernize it and make it better. So, what we can expect to see, I think, primarily is transparency and disclosure.
Hey, wow, the golden age. What's going on, everybody? Rex Bear Elite Project. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. We've got Bob Gilpatrick with us from boomerboost.com. And so Bob knows not only a ton about the holistic health and nutrition, cutting edge nutrition, the best products on the planet when it comes to nutrition. I take the Boomer Boost and the Gladiator Barley and the Myotrol. This stuff is like my daily go-to. But he also knows a lot about the political side. I find it very interesting that people are so concerned about RFK Jr. and his position. I'm really excited about it. I mean, why do people want fluoride in their water? Why do people want these gnarly seed oils in their foods and stuff like that? Is it just all they know, or is it the way that they've been conditioned? I'm sure there's a multitude of reasons, but you're going to share with us the different aspects and the different potentials that we could see here in the very near future with the research and information that he's going to help bring to light into the public. So I really appreciate that. And also, folks, I did just want to let you know that there is a huge sale going on right now at boomerboost.com. If you go to boomerboost.com, you can not only get 25% off a couple of different combos, but if you do auto ship, you'll get an extra 10% off. And I just ordered 2 more sets of the Boomer Boost and Gladiator Barley. Absolutely love this stuff. And the Myotrol, I sent some of this stuff out to my folks. My dad's an avid bike rider, and he's actually getting back into competition again. So he's really stoked about it. What's going on, Bob? How you been, man?
I'm doing really well, Rex. Thank you very much. We're here in Florida. It's the middle of February, and our weather is right about average today. It's going to be around 77 degrees, and it's sunny. It's really beautiful. All the tourists are now coming down for February, March, and April. And so there's lots of activity, lots of people from all over the country, lots of people from Canada are around, and I get to meet them in the elevator because some of them are staying in the same condo complex where I live. And it's really fun. A lot of people complain about tourist season that live in Florida. I love it. I like seeing all the different people and everything that's happening, and people bring their little children and their children's friends, and it's a happy time because all the people that are on vacation are happy to be down in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's really great.
I think it's going to be like -2 in Oklahoma tomorrow. And some places in the country are going to be up to 50 degrees below normal. So this weather is wild. Florida, here I go.
Yeah, that's hit a little bit of Georgia and a little bit of North Florida, but for the most part, Central and South Florida are in the 70s. So it's really nice. And we're really, excited about the different cabinet members that are now in place, and hopefully this week, the last key person will be put in place, and in particular for me, being in the health space, to have RFK Jr., the now confirmed Secretary of Health and Human Services, is going to just be awesome. And already he started to get going. His first day on the job was on Monday, and he's already getting things rolling. And that's really good. So in a lot of areas, there's been, um, you know, a reluctance on the part of bureaucrats to provide information to the oversight committees in the Congress that are supposed to be overseeing these types of agencies. And they would ask for data on this and ask for data on that, and this study and that study, and they just would refuse to turn it over. And so now those types of things are going to be released in all of the information, whether it's pro or con, on every different aspect of the health and wellness space that is overseen by this secretary. They'll start to make all that public. And so some of the things specifically will be disclosure about seed oils. So seed oils are a really big thing. Those oils are used in ultra processed foods. People cook with them, and it causes tremendous inflammation and tremendous damage to human beings to consume these seed oils, especially if they're cooked and they're cooked at a high temperature or they're heated up too fast. It makes them even worse. They become trans fats at that point. And a lot of people that are in the field of health and wellness, the really well-known doctors and researchers believe that seed oils is the single biggest problem for Americans' health. Now, if it is, then very close behind it is high fructose corn syrup, which is in many, many different foods and cereals and things like that for a sweetener that is very detrimental to people's health. In particular, it contributes, to people that end up with too high of blood sugar. And that's really super bad for you. People want to know what their blood sugar level is, and you want to keep it below 100 if at all possible. As it starts to creep up above 100, what happens is you have extra sugar that's in your bloodstream that cannot be used for energy because there's already too much sugar in the cells. And so it floats in the bloodstream. And that's why people, when they say, well, you have high blood sugar, it means your blood has too much sugar in it. And what happens, unfortunately, is that sugar doesn't just float around harmlessly. It combines together with proteins in your blood, which are very valuable proteins that are about to be used to build muscle or your skin or your other tissues. And when the sugar hits it, it glycates it and changes it and makes it into a toxin. It's called a glycotoxin. And in the process, throws off a molecule of what's called superoxide. And superoxide is the free radical that's most prominent in the human body and is what's aging us and giving us disease. It creates inflammation. And almost every disease is precipitated by inflammation. Heart disease, strokes, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and even diabetes are caused by too high of inflammation. And when you have high blood sugar, you're going to have high inflammation, and you can measure it in a separate blood test. It's called CRP, or C-reactive protein, and that tells you your level of inflammation. And people that have high blood sugar have much higher CRP unless they're doing something about it to mitigate that superoxide, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because we do have something that even if your blood sugar stays high, we have the ability now to get that inflammation down. And so you want to work on getting your blood sugar down, but if it still stays a little high, that's okay, because we can now mitigate the inflammation that's causing all the problems. And what we see, Rex, is like, for example, we had a gentleman that used to work for Larry and me, Larry, my business partner, and he had very high blood sugar. He had type 1 diabetes for 30 something years. His blood sugar was really super high. And we were never able to help him get that down to a point where it wouldn't be causing inflammation. And so what we did though is we gave him Boomer Boost and we gave him our Gladiator barley, which have the antioxidants in it, and his inflammation came down so low, all of his symptoms of being a diabetic went away. So his peripheral neuropathy, his gastroparesis, things that are side effects, so to speak, of it and what kind of characterizes the disease, those all disappeared when we got his inflammation down. And we've done that for many, many people now. Over 20,000 people have used these products now. And so seed oils is something that RFK Jr. is going to be presenting information about and presenting alternatives to it. And not all seed oils are bad. And what he really also needs to make sure that he does is to warn people about how seed oils are utilized. So some seed oils can be very good for you, but if you heat them up real fast or you heat them up too high, there's a bond in these oils that is called a cis bond. It's a chemistry term, CIS, and that bond will flip to being a trans bond, and now you have a trans fat. So people need to know that if they're going to cook with oil, you want to heat it up very slowly. Put the burner on as low as you can get it. Put the seed oil in, let it go for a couple of minutes, then turn it up a little, and very slowly heat it. And then don't heat it too high. Don't make it piping hot. And there's, the different oils will cook your food for you at certain temperatures, and you want the ones that will cook it at lower temperatures, because as soon as you get it above 350 to 375 degrees, eventually it's going to become a trans fat. So these are important things to know. In Europe, they know all about this, Rex, because they cook with oils all the time, and people eat fries for their main course. So Belgium fries, for example, are cooked in these special fry wall systems. They have computers and they have testing devices that test the polarity of the oils, and they never cook in trans fats. If the oil flips, they dump it and they put fresh oil in. So they're always cooking in healthy oil that's been heated up over a long period of time so as not to flip the polarity, right? And so I used to actually have a fry shop in the United States. It was the only place in the United States where you could get Belgium fries, and we imported one of their fry wall systems from Belgium, and we hired a television personality that they called the Frying Dutchman. And we had the Frying Dutchman come to the United States to teach our chefs how to cook the way the Dutch cook food. And we had that fry shop in Albany, New York. And so and they're pretty far ahead of us in Europe in regard to how to cook healthy food with oils, but they don't have to be, because we know what they do, right? So as RFK gets going and works on seed oils, he's going to also have to educate people about that aspect of it. The other is sugars, right? High fructose corn syrup is in lots and lots of foods, and it's causing high blood sugar. And we need to have alternatives to high fructose corn syrup. And so we have to look at subsidies that are being used from the government for certain things and begin to do work on that. You also have other things in regard to agriculture with all the pesticides and GMOs, and those go together, the GMOs and the pesticides. So when they first created the herbicide that goes by the common name of Roundup, Roundup was a great thing when it first came out. And I was working at an agricultural research center when it came out on the marketplace. And I was part of the people that tested it. And it worked great because it would kill weeds really, really well. and particularly, and it would also kill grass. And so you could have an apple tree that was in the middle of an orchard, and you could spray around and kill all the grass underneath the tree. And the tree would produce much better apples because it had more water, because it wasn't being used up by the grass. And so everybody, wow, this is a great thing. Well, they also wanted to use it on things like corn or other crops, but that herbicide would kill the crop in addition to the weeds. And that's when they started doing GMOs, genetically modified organisms. And that's when they created what they called Roundup Ready. So this corn is Roundup Ready, and this corn is not Roundup Ready because it's not genetically modified. And the reason they made genetically modified crops was so they could spray Roundup on it. And so, and now, of course, we know from the advertisements on TV that, it's a very harmful pesticide to human beings. And there's lots of other ones too that are also harmful. And I worked in the industry when they had outlawed DDT. My father used to use DDT back in the day when it came out, and then it was killing off all the birds, and they stopped using it. And they had to invent newer and newer pesticides. Well, now there's dozens of them that are being used all the time, and people are consuming it because they're not eating organic food for the most part. So this is another thing that'll have to be looked at. How do we move towards more organic agriculture and sustainable agriculture, using some of the techniques that are used to create our barley, which is a beyond organic superfood? And those technologies are known now for the most part. Some of them are trade secrets that are willing to be shared under the right circumstances. But we can create what they refer to as Jurassic farms, and in a way that doesn't need to utilize pesticides. And so that's the basic concept, Rex, of what RFK is going to be working on. But you also, you have the whole FDA. The FDA has lots of controversy around it, which we won't go into today, but that'll be looked at. And and Dr. Roz hopefully will be helping him with the Medicare and Medicaid system to make improvements to it. And this is the first time really that we have a person with the intent to try to start to fix a lot of these things that have damaged the health of so many people. And in the US, our food is so poor in quality that we have 70% of the population is now overweight and 40% are obese. And people eat a lot of food, Rex, because they're malnourished. So they're getting very little nourishment from the food they're eating. And so their body craves more and more food because it's craving nutrients, minerals and vitamins and amino acids. And when you're eating empty calories, and still to this day, Rex, 25% of all the calories that people consume in the US is from drinking soda pop. And so it's not only empty calories, but it contains high fructose corn syrup. And it's just really, really super bad for you. And it leads to malnourishment and obesity. And so what we like to do to help people is we like to help them eat less food by becoming well nourished. So with a couple of powders and a couple of pills, people can get what's called a total health system, and they can mix the powders in a glass of water, shake it into their shaker bottle, wash down a couple of vitamin D pills, a couple of essential fatty acid pills, and you will have consumed enough nutrition to be super nourished. And when you get super nourished, you eat a lot less food. And the reports that we get, Rex, is people are eating anywhere from a third to half as much food as they were eating before. Because when you're nourished, you don't crave to continue eating and eating and eating. And so generally what occurs is people save enough on their food bill that it more then pays for their super nutrition that they get from our company. And so it's actually a way to save money while you're becoming super healthy. And that's the whole strategy for us, is to not give somebody an extra burden. Well, I have to pay for my barley and my Boomer Boost and my vitamin D. Yes, you do, but watch your grocery bill go down and down and down to the point where you're actually saving more than you're spending on your Boomer Boost.
That's pretty cool. And I just want to go over something real quick with people just to put into perspective here. So if you just do a quick Google search as an example and type in something like America versus Europe food system, what is allowed in the US and not in Europe? Well, Google AI will come, like Gemini will come up with a list of stuff. In comparison to Europe, the US food system allows ingredients like potassium bromate, a dough enhancer linked to cancer, certain artificial food dyes, brominated vegetable oil, higher levels of certain preservatives like BHA and BHT, which are generally banned or heavily restricted in Europe. And then there's a website that I clicked on called the Tilly Distribution, food regulation in Europe versus the US. And the US Food and Drug Administration and the US food regulators are established and enforced by the FDA. Now, RFK Jr. is head of that. Go RFK Jr., man. Make America healthy again. I am very rarely this excited about a political figure in power, but I am just so excited about this opportunity, man. Hey, look, folks, I could be wrong. Time's going to tell, but I'm keeping the optimism. And after talking to Bob, I'm even more optimistic. So listen to this. The agency is responsible for protecting public health across several categories: cosmetics, human pharmaceutical products, animal pharmaceutical products, medical devices, tobacco products, human food, animal food and nutrition, electronics that emit radiation. A lot of people are constantly surrounding themselves with mass amounts of EMF radiation. They don't even realize it. And that can cause some opportunities. But this is what it says right here. So there's different philosophies between the US and Europe. And here's some products that are commonly used in the US, but not in Europe. RBGH, or RBST, growth hormone, ractopamine, potassium bromate, brominite vegetable oil, olestra, which is a fat substitute, azodicarbonide. Did I say that right? Probably not. Coloring agents: red number 40, yellow number 6, yellow number 5, blue number 1, BHA and BHT preservatives. And a lot of these products, these food products, the marketing companies do a great job getting you to think it's healthy. Like they'll do something with the colors and the names, and they'll use certain marketing employees like, oh yeah, I don't even need to look at the label. That must be good for me. But then when you start reading the stuff that's in it, and then you start reading all these different additives and coloring, it's like, what the heck is it? I'm paying less for a product that has more crap in it versus going out and buying something organic. Organic with less chemicals and less additives costs twice as much as the food that has all the crap in it. I think that's a bit of a problem, Bob. I'm not okay with that. But
yeah.
It's way.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of it's subsidies too. So, all of the different agencies that RFK is going to be under are going to go through a transformation. And so that's what we have to look forward to. But this is transformation for the masses, for people that aren't really paying attention to what they're eating. They're going to start to have better choices at the grocery store that will become more and more common over time. And so people will go shopping, and just by default, they'll be eating healthier food. But for people that listen to shows like the Leak Project, we can already do that very easily. We don't have to wait for RFK Jr. to change anything. We already have full access to not only healthier, alternatives, but we have access to superfoods that didn't even exist, 15 years ago, like the gladiator barley that we have. This is a superfood that's beyond organic, beyond superfood, that does so many different great things that it's the complete opposite. So if you have lots of bad in the current food supply, if you were to go to all the exact opposite extreme, where the greatest superfood you could possibly imagine and better because the people that put it together probably imagined more than we could. That's what's available now. And there are certain things that have been invented like that are not really super expensive. And you can use them and eat a lot less food. And right now, without any doubt whatsoever, we've seen it thousands upon thousands of times, and we've received thousands of testimonials, over 3,000 testimonials about what's happened positively for people that have taken advantage of these new inventions and creations and combinations of them, which is what we do, Rex, is we put really, really great inventions together in combinations that we know are going to make them all better together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just read you this one testimonial, Rex, while you're doing that.
Yeah.
This is a lady that sent this in 5 days ago. And she said, after 3 months of taking Myotrol Boomer Boost, heirloom barley, and collagen peptides, I'm getting younger and younger. I'm not sure, after biking 14 miles, how much further I can go. I'm not even tired. Your products are truly the fountain of youth. Thank you, boomers. And she sent us a video of her riding this stationary bike with electronics, and it's showing us how far she's riding and just pedaling and pedaling. She's pedaling fast. But this is just one of many, many testimonials that come in every single day. We get new testimonials, and this is on everything from these types of products that are creating this youthful vigor, to things such as our sleep aid, which, as best as we can tell, is the best one on the market for the vast majority of people. And we have close to 1,000 testimonials just on that sleep aid product. And also things like our digestive enzymes and others. We have 23 different products. And the other thing that's really important, Rex, is that you need help and guidance sometimes in regard to getting to the healthiest point for you or a family member. And you want to be able to pick up the phone and call, and someone will actually answer the phone who's right here in St. Petersburg that will speak to you, when you call. And if you get our answering machine, we have two different people monitoring the messages, and as soon as they get off the phone, they go to the messages that came in and they dial you back. And so you don't call and leave a message and 2 months later somebody calls you. You get called back usually that very day. And I do speak to people also, Rex. Sometimes there's a situation that comes up with somebody, and one of the ladies answering the phone is like, hey, Bob, let's discuss this particular issue so we can help this person the best. And if it's necessary, I'll call that person back to talk to them directly. And there's a lot of things that we can do. I'll just give you this example, Rex. We get calls all the time from people whose relatives have dementia. They have Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia or Lewy bodies dementia, and their parent or grandparent or spouse is deteriorating mentally. They have neurodegenerative disease. And so we know a lot of different things that people can do to help with that. And I'll give you an example. The FDA is right now considering giving approval to a new light device that you can set up while somebody's sitting in a chair, can set this light up on a little table behind them, and it'll put light into the back of their head at a certain frequency. And they're going to be approving it for treating Alzheimer's disease. And you can already buy that device without a doctor's order. The company is called Just Light, Justlight. And we interviewed the inventor of that device for 2 hours one day and put that podcast up on our website. So if people want to learn right from the inventor what that is. And so we can direct people to things like that are in addition to what we actually have for sale on our website. There's a lot of other valuable things. The other thing that's really great for dementia is helping people increase their circulation. And there's pulsed electromagnetic fields that help people with their circulation. They're emitted naturally from the core of the earth, and our capillaries expand and contract when they're hit by these photons that are coming out of the core of the earth, right? Well, as you age, you become less sensitive to that. And so you need a boost. And so there's a special mat that people can lie on and turn on the power supply, and it gives you those same pulses right against your skin. And your circulation increases 30% right away. And that sometimes that's just enough new circulation into a person's brain where they no longer have dementia. And there's studies at Cornell University that bear this out. Right. And so those are the types of things we can tell people about when they call. And they're not things they're going to find on our website because they're someone else's product, and all different kinds of things like that. It's not just those two things. And we also have a really good referral network for therapists. So if someone has an autoimmune disease, for example, we can help them look up on this particular website how to find a person in their area that can help them with that using a technique called craniosacral therapy for the immune system. And I know how to do that technique, but people are, I'm not all across the country. But there are people that you can find if you have the right phone number and know what to ask for and have our guidance to help find such a thing. And many other things too. We get a lot of calls, people that have pain in my back, pain in my neck, pain in my knees. And we have all kinds of resources for people for that type of thing. And all these consultations are free, Rex, that people can call in and get this information without paying for some type of a phone call or a visit. And people come to the office too. We're on Central Avenue in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we have people that listen to a show like this that live in the area, or they're coming on vacation, and they'll stop in to visit us. And we do our own fulfillment here, meaning all of our products are here at our building, and we mail them out from here. So we have tight control over it. The orders come in on one day, and they either go out that day or the next day. Unless for some reason there's a huge influx of orders, it overwhelms the staff. It might take them a couple days to get it out, right? And so, but it's all done from here, so it's very highly accurate. We have over 99% accuracy on the orders that are going out. So very rarely is there a problem. People get the order right away. We have a really great subscription service that some people call auto ship, that we give a really good discount and free shipping, and that stuff goes out like clockwork. Now, so the other thing is, Rex, in regard to, what people can do, you're already doing the main thing that people can do, because you can change your body biochemically now, which is only part of life. It's not all of life. People have a spirit animating their heart to beat and animating their consciousness, but we also are biochemical. Our bodies are essentially a nervous system, which is a brain and your spinal cord with your peripheral nerves, and then you have some nerves that are actually in your heart muscle and in your intestines, neurites and other types of nerves that are throughout your body. But we are essentially a nervous system that gives us the ability to have consciousness, a localized consciousness that we can expand out if we want. But that's what our bodies are for. The rest of our bodies are for supporting and protecting that nervous system, to supply blood to those nerves, to kidneys to filter the blood, et cetera, heart to pump the blood. And it's all to allow us to have a consciousness and to walk around and move around and do things. We walk upright and we can use our hands to collect food, to eat, to make computers, many different things. But essentially, we are a nervous system with a protective coating. And that nervous system needs to be fed. Every nerve cell has to have nourishment, and it has to have oxygen. And so that's why we have a circulatory system. So we need to know a lot about our circulatory system. How do we make it work so well that we always have enough circulation of blood that includes oxygen? Because without oxygen, you'd be dead in 5 minutes, right? And so that where are we getting that from? It's in our blood. It's going into our lungs, absorbing oxygen, getting pumped by our heart, going through the capillaries from those PEMFs that I was talking about, and it's nourishing our nerves. And so what are we going to do to nourish our nervous system? And what needs to be in our blood? And what is it that we need to do to push that blood? And we know what needs to be in people's blood. And we know the ratios, and we know the amounts of all the different nutrients that create a really well-functioning biological body that gives us the ability to have a highly functioning nervous system, so we can interact with people and do cool stuff. We can speak, we can see because of this nervous system, and we can think, we can pray, we can make a connection to source, all because of this. So it behooves us to say, all right, we need to know as much as we can about how to stay healthy. Otherwise, what are we doing here if we don't have a healthy nervous system? So we know that people need macronutrients. They need good carbohydrates. They need good fats, not bad seed oils. And we need protein. Ideally, if you can get it in the form of amino acids with metabolic enzymes that get formed into proteins in our body. And we need vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and probiotics. Our bodies have 10 times more bacteria than we have human cells. Our bodies are 1/10 human and 90% bacteria, fungus, viruses, and parasites collected together. And we're a symbiotic type of organism, all of which supports our nervous system. So the neurotransmitters in our brain that give rise to consciousness, along with the animating spirit, okay, are highly dependent on what's happening with the bacteria in our gut, because the bacteria is fermenting fiber in our gut, and it's creating metabolites that result eventually in these neurotransmitters: dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, melatonin, et cetera. And so it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship that has been evolved and created, and we can now take care of it at this very high level, so that we are just super healthy, almost all the time, unless we get knocked down like a lot of people did recently by the worst flu in 10 years.
Tell us about that. Real quick, if you don't mind, did you say that there's like even state of emergency going on because of this?
In certain counties, and they've had to close school districts and all the like. And there's millions of people that have caught this flu. And so even the healthiest people sometimes will succumb and become sick from pathogens like that. But in general, if you're not in the middle of a real bad flu season, with the new technology in the world, you'll be super healthy. And the main place to start is to take advantage of what companies like ours have done to gather together the very best nutritional formulations and put them in combos that are based on scientific evidence. And so we have a thing that's called the supplement pyramid, and it was a book written by the Life Extension Foundation. And at Boomers Forever Young, we know all about the supplement pyramid, and we also know where it's lacking, where there are new things that they don't even know about that we do that are part of our supplement pyramid. And we have our own that looks like this, that is beyond what the Life Extension Foundation put forward in their book. And we believe that part of the basics need to be probiotics and also antioxidants, because human beings are the fleshy part of our body and the bones, and as a result, the nervous system. We're aerobic life. We're like a log that's burning in a fire, and over time it burns out and becomes ash and smoke. Human bodies are the same way, but we can burn for 100 years, sometimes more, right? But that burn, we now know exactly how it happens, right down to the electron, and we know exactly how to combat it. So you can reduce your rate of burn by 90%. And that's part of our supplement pyramid with our Boomer Boost and barley. The components that are needed to do that, to reduce your C-reactive protein by a factor of 10, are in that total health system. And so that's why we call this the age of immortality. We don't really know how old people are going to live to be if they take Boomer Boost and barley their whole life. And now also, Rex, we have the Myotrol product, right? This was just invented literally 6 months ago. A highly evolved scientist in California who holds 40 different patents came out with a pill that allows people to gain muscle as if they were 20 years old at any age. And we have testimonials by the hundreds now of people that have taken Myotrol that were in their 70s and 80s, and one man 91 years old talking about how youthful they now feel and how much muscle they gained. And people, you can tell pretty easily how old people are and how much longer they're going to live based on how much muscle they have left, what percentage of their body is muscle. And we lose that as we age. We lose muscle mass. And essentially, when we've lost enough muscle mass, it coincides with our death, right? But now we can take a pill that allows us to go all the way back in our muscle mass and start over again, and not have it ever change. You can keep taking these pills and you can stay as strong as a 20-year-old, what looks like indefinitely. And so we don't know at this point how long, if we look back 100 years from now, if you and I will still be alive, Rex. We don't know for sure because hasn't seen it yet. But when you look at the chemistry of it and you look at the biomarkers in people's blood that are using these types of products, they look much, much younger than their actual age. Larry, my business partner, for example, when he was in his early 70s, his blood biomarkers made him look like he was 33. And the life insurance company thought he was 33 and asked us to change the date of birth on the application because they thought it was a mistake. Right? And so this is what's happening in the new age of immortality. We don't know for sure what's going to happen, but by all practical observation with blood work, we're looking at people who are not aging at all, and they de-age from where they were, and they're going into what appears to be a suspended animation where they're no longer aging. And this is it. This is where we stand right now. Now, RFK's got a lot of work to do because the majority of the people are not using these products. Less than 1% of the people in the country actually use this technology to get super healthy and to stay that way their whole life long. The average person is dead when they're in their 70s. And they're sick by the time they're 60. And from 60 to 75, 77 years old, they live the last 10, 12 years of their life in a state of very poor health, unable to participate in regular activities, and then they die. Right? Well, that is absolutely unnecessary. But nobody that has the right knowledge that we have on this show, Rex, needs to be in that circumstance any longer. We're firmly in the age of immortality, and right now, this time of February, right here in 2025, is a magnificent time of positive energy. Right? It's called the full moon is in Leo, and this is a time of first untangling things in your life that might be holding you back. It's a good time to clear away clutter, to finish up things that you really know you need to do, whatever it is. And then you're making way for the next 2 weeks, which is about to begin early next week on Wednesday. The second half of the month in regard to this full moon is going to begin. And that's the time to watch for incredible advancements, opportunities for you and your friends and your family, and to take advantage of them, because this is that age and it is that month where this is the perfect time to do it. Get untangled and then take advantage of incredible opportunities. And if there are people that want to do that with their health, or they want to do it for their mom or their grandma or their grandpa, they want to help with that, we can do that part with them, Rex. We can help them untangle what needs to get untangled. For example, toxins are an entanglement. If your body's laden with pesticides and mold, et cetera, you have to untangle that so you can then become super healthy with things like Gladiator Barley and Boomer Boost. The good news is the same products do both. It will untangle you while you're getting super nourished, and you can detoxify and have a fresh start for your life, and take your Myotrol pills with it. You can regain all the muscle that you lost. And you're all of a sudden, just like the ladies in the testimonial, they're saying, wow, I'm in my 70s, but I feel like I did when I was working out all the time in my 30s. I feel like that again. What is going on? And say, well, what's going on is people like Eric Kurtz, who you can see. So I would just say to people, here's Eric Kurtz, this genius inventor of nutraceutical products. Wonderful, wonderful man. Just, he's a spiritual teacher and he's an inventor. And if you'd like to meet him, you can go to our website and type in Myotrol, and you'll see a picture of a man with white hair shows up, and you can watch our interview with him. And not only that, Rex, but we read aloud to him 5 testimonials of people that had different benefits from the Myotrol, and he commented over a Zoom call on why it was that those people had experienced that. And you can watch Eric commenting on those testimonials right on our website, and you'll get to meet Eric, and you too can be just like the thousands of other people who have been using these products in order to participate in the age of immortality.
That's what I'm talking about. I love your passion about the whole spectrum of political change right now. We're seeing the biggest change in the political spectrum than probably. I mean, I'm seeing the biggest change I've ever seen. This is absolutely mind-boggling. It kind of reminds me of shock and awe a little bit. And I remember that was even one of the terms used about this political shift that's going on. Mm-hmm. And so you really see, and a lot of people do, and I'm hoping, man. I'm optimistic, especially like I said after talking to you. But like this shift into a golden age, the age of Aquarius, almost, or maybe it is the actual age of Aquarius. I just need to go to I need to go to the North Pole during the I think winter or summer equinox and see what star system is at a specific point at noon. If that, I probably just totally butchered that, but something like to actually physically know when we're in the age of Aquarius. There's a certain the ecliptic or something like that. You'll see the Aquarius star constellation at that, like where it's the man with the water bears, or the water bear, where he's like releasing knowledge and information and technology to the world. But yeah, man, hello,
Yeah.
age of Aquarius and golden age.
And the full moon's in Leo.
Cool. I'm a Leo.
Me too.
Awesome. Yeah. Hello. No wonder we get along so good.
August 9th.
Oh, right on. Right on. 18th. So
There you go.
yeah, my father-in-law was the 8th, man. So
Yeah.
good guy. The coolest, one of the greatest people I ever had a chance to know. I wish he would have been on the Boomer Boost and the Gladiator Barley, man.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor had him on like 11 medications. One of them had a black box warning label on it. I found out before he passed, but yeah, I remember I gave him some zeolite before he passed because he was just really struggling, and he left me a message. Man, I didn't know what to think about it, but he's like, dude, he said he felt a lot better when I gave him that, but it was just a little bit too late, man.
A little too late.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Lance. I love you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that was Larry. When I first met Larry, he was on 11 medications as well. And we were able to get him off all those medications and cancel 2 different surgeries he was scheduled for. And he's still going.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He looks good. And he acts like a freaking teenager. He's just bouncing off the walls. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, man, this was a wonderful presentation, and thank you so much for all the information you share with us. Every time we have a chance to talk, you share new information with us that is just so vital, in my opinion, and many others. And I read through the comments. Everybody loves to listen to what you have to say. So thank you. And any other words of wisdom you can share this?
Well, just I would say 2 things. One is our Myotrol product is so popular, it's hard to keep it in stock. And it just flies off the shelf. It became the best-selling product we've ever had in less than 6 months' time. And so it just works so well that everybody wants it. And you see the testimonies like, man, I hope I never run out of this stuff. Well, right at the moment, some people are running out because we're still waiting for the next shipment to come. It takes a long time to make this product. And so if you're on our website and you want Myotrol, there's a spot that you can click to be on an email list to be notified as soon as it's ready. And I would highly encourage people to do that, especially if you're someone who's older and you've been losing muscle weight, you're not as strong as you used to be, or if you've ever been through cancer treatments or other types of treatments that left you really weak, if you ever had to be on a ventilator, or one of your elderly relatives is like that, because you don't want to be weak as you get old, because it leads to people falling. And if they fall, they're going to break a bone at that age, most likely, and they're going to be in bad shape from that fall. And so just keep that in mind when it's time to help one of your elderly relatives, and we'll be more than happy to help you to help care for them, and to speak to them directly if you would like us to, or they would like to speak to us. And that's what I wanted to say at the end there, Rex. And we look forward to engaging with people that are listening to Leak Project. We really enjoy coming on and talking with you, and then answering comments in the chat, and then speaking to people on the phone as they call. And that's what we want to do. That's what we're here for. This is our profession of choice, is to help people live very long, very healthy lives. And if they've gotten tangled up in something that's making them unhealthy, we can help you untangle it and get back on track.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's awesome. And the only other thing I'd like to say before we finish up, folks, is I'm Gen X. I got a lot of friends and a lot of people that watch Leak Project that are Gen X, and they saw the Boomer Boost, and they're like, Rex, have Bob change the name. I don't care if it's the same, but just put a new label on it and have it say Gen X Boost. So, but anyway,
Yeah,
right.
we'll take that under advisement.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
We
All
tried
right,
that
Bob.
once before, and we called it Super Nutra Complete.
Oh yeah,
It gets tangled up between websites and merchant accounts and stuff like that, and it's not as easy as it sounds.
I like the name Boomer Boost, man. I'm okay with it. You know, some people are just sticklers. So
it's the strong stuff, right? And so younger people that aren't baby boomers, if you want the strong stuff, that's the strong stuff.
Bob Gilpatrick, you're a legend, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rex.